My name is Matthew. I'm 32 years old today. But what I'm about to tell you started long before that. When I was just a kid, trying to understand why nobody looked at me the way they looked at others. I grew up in a tiny town in rural Louisiana. Those towns where everyone knows each other and where rumors travel faster than the wind. I grew up hearing jokes about my appearance. The kids at school called me Ogre, Truck Breakface, and a nickname that stuck with me for years. Shadow Men, because, according to them, I was scarier than my own shadow. My mother said I was beautiful on the inside, and maybe I was, but no one wants to know about your soul when the world only sees your face. In adolescence, things got worse. No girl gave me attention. I was always the funny friend, the helper, the one who held the purse while they danced with the good-looking guys. By the time I reached 20, I had already gotten used to the silence of ignored messages, the averted gazes, the absolute loneliness. So, I dropped out of school and went to work in construction. Strong arms, calloused back. That's what I had left. And you know what? I got good at it. Carrying weight and enduring pain became my specialties. But what no one knew, what not even my co-workers knew, is that I slept crying almost every night, wishing, just once, to know what it was like to be touched with affection. That's when I met Carmela. She was a woman in her early 50s, with a strange accent that I couldn't identify. A mix of Cajun and Spanish, maybe. She called me saying she needed to renovate a room in the back of the house. A place far from the city, on a dirt road surrounded by pine trees and silence. When I got there, I realized I had seen that woman before. She owned a small, almost clandestine bar frequented by truckers and lonely men. I never thought she lived there. I never thought she was more than a somewhat eccentric businesswoman. But upon entering that little room, which she wanted to turn into a special room, I saw the altar, ceramic skulls, pots with things I couldn't identify, candles of colors I had never seen before, and the smell, a mixture of burnt cinnamon with something rotten. Jokingly, I asked, "Are you into witchcraft, ma'am?" She smiled. "It's witchcraft, it's hoodoo, it's voodoo, ... Call it what you want, boy. I just know it works. It saved my life and many people's lives." I laughed. I pretended not to take it seriously, but she looked me in the eyes, and at that moment, something inside me locked up. "You're one of those who was born with the weight of the world on your back, right? I see it. It's in your aura, in the way you walk, in the way you look away. You're tired of being invisible." That broke me down. I don't know why, but I told her everything. About how I felt. About the emptiness. About how much it hurt to spend my whole life alone. About the nicknames, the looks, the silences. She listened without blinking. Then she said, "Do you want to change your luck, Matthew?" And at that moment, without thinking, I said yes. She then got up, took a small bottle with a dark liquid, and placed it in my hand. "This is just the beginning. But be careful. Too much luck, when it comes quickly, can be costly." At the time, I didn't understand. I thought it was just talk from a mystical old lady wanting to cheer me up. But I accepted. I did what she told me to do. And that's when my life started to change. 3 weeks after Carmela's gift, I was different. And it wasn't just my imagination. People noticed me. I'm not talking about shallow compliments or forced politeness. I'm talking about lingering gazes, smiles, women striking up conversations with me at the market, at the pharmacy, at the corner bar. Even my co-workers started treating me with more respect. One of them, Rico, came up to me and said, "Man, Matt, what the hell are you using?" because there's a waitress at the doghouse asking about you." I laughed, but inside, my heart almost jumped out of my mouth. Because the waitress in question was Tasha, brunette, tattooed, sculpted body, and totally out of my league. Always was. Always would be. But the following Friday, she was there, sitting next to me, laughing at my jokes, calling me cute. We left together. I'm not going to go into details about what happened that night. I don't need to. I'll just say this. It was the first time someone touched me with desire. For real, without pity, without obligation. And that's when the tide turned for good. From that night on, I started going out all the time. Tasha wasn't the only one. Beautiful woman, mysterious woman, married woman. They all seemed attracted to me like bees to honey. It was like I had become irresistible, but there was something strange about it all. They never wanted commitment. They always disappeared after a few nights. And all of them, without exception, acted as if they knew me before. As if they were waiting for me. One of them, a blonde named Morgan, told me something that still echoes in my head to this day. "You have something different, Matt. Like someone has blessed you, ... or cursed you." I laughed at the time, but that laughter died quickly, because the following week, Morgan died in a car accident. She was leaving work, lost control on a curve, and crashed straight into a tree. Died instantly. When I saw the news, I felt sick. I didn't eat all day. But then came Jade, then Eliza, then a married woman named Rachel, all with strange stories, all intense, all disappearing suddenly. Until one day, I received a message from an unknown number. Some things cannot be undone. That was it, just that. I thought it was a prank. I deleted it, but then the nightmares started. First, I dreamed of Carmela's altar, the candles, the smell. Only this time, everything was dark. The candles went out on their own. I heard whispers in a language I didn't understand. Then I started dreaming about them. All the women I was with. In the dream, they were around me, standing still, face without expression. Some with empty eyes, others with blood running from their lips. One of them was holding a melted black candle and repeating, "You asked for it, now you'll have to pay." I woke up sweating, nauseous, with a dry throat. The next morning, I decided to go back to Carmela's house. The road was the same, but the house wasn't. It was abandoned. The windows were bricked up. Vegetation had swallowed half the porch. The altar was no longer there. The smell gone. No sign of life. I knocked. I called out. Nothing, until a neighbor appeared at the fence. A very old woman, with her face covered in freckles and a trembling voice. "You're looking for Carmela, right?" I nodded. She disappeared a few days ago. Left everything there. No one saw her leaving. Disappeared how? Just like that. One night, there was a strong thunderstorm, as if it had struck in her backyard. The next day, the house was empty, but her things are still inside. My stomach turned. I thanked her and left. But before leaving, I looked one last time at the front door of the house. Someone, or something, had written a word on the wood, with something dark red. Reverse. Since that day, things have started to go wrong. Very wrong. I'll tell you that in the next part, because now I'm afraid to sleep. Edit. I received another message from the same number. You should have listened. The black candle never lies. I don't know exactly when everything turned. Maybe it was on that last visit to Carmela's house. Or maybe what killed me was the greed to want more. I just know that After those messages and those dreams, things started to fall apart. At first, it was small things, disappearing clients, cancelled jobs without explanation. I was fired from a job without even understanding why. The foreman, a guy who even admired me, just said, "It's not you, Matt. It's the atmosphere. It's strange. Strange." It was just the beginning. On the second weekend of that month, I went out with a woman named Vivian. We met at a new bar near the river. She was different, an intense look, a way too seductive. You know, that type of woman who seems to know more about you than you do yourself. That's it. We spent the night together. It was intense, hot. But right after the second round, she sat on the bed and said something that made me freeze. "You know what they say about the black candle, Matt?" I froze. "How do you know about that?" She smiled, but it was a strange smile, almost ... empty. "You asked to attract love, but you forgot to say what kind of love." I stared at her, not knowing what to answer. "The kind of love that comes from a spell," she continued, "is like fire. It illuminates quickly, but it also burns everything around it." I got out of bed, confused. I thought she was drunk, but when I turned again, she was gone. The door was still locked. No windows open, no sound, just the bedsheet, crumpled, and the smell of lavender and smoke. The next morning, I woke up with a fever. My body burned as if it were on fire from the inside. I ended up in the hospital. The doctors said it was a type of viral infection, but nothing showed up in the tests. I stayed in the hospital for 2 days. When I left, Carmela sent me a message. It was the first time since the ritual. "You lit the fire, Matthew. Now you need to learn to put it out." I replied right away. I asked for help. I asked to see her. Nothing. Silence. That's when the apparitions started. First in the mirrors, quick reflections, faces behind me. Women I recognized. The ones who disappeared, the ones who died, the ones who vanished after one night. Then it was in the street. I started seeing the same women on street corners, at the bus stop, at the market, but they never spoke. They just looked, staring, empty eyes, immobile, as if they were following me. And they all whispered the same thing when I passed. "You asked for it." One night, I woke up to the sound of something falling in the bathroom. I went there. The light was off. When I turned it on, I saw something written on the mirror, with a dark substance that I swear looked like dried blood. "The last candle is still lit." I didn't understand what that meant, but when I turned around, I saw the black candle, the same one from the ritual, lit on the floor of the living room. I never brought it home, never, and yet, there it was, and behind it, a shadow, tall, thin, feminine, but distorted, as if it were trembling in the air. I took a step back, the shadow moved, and then I heard the voice. Not Carmela's, not a woman's, it was my own voice. But it was saying things I didn't want to hear. You wanted love, but love without choice is obsession. You wanted presence, but you never said what kind of presence. Now they live here, all of them, inside you. I ran. I left the house. I didn't sleep that night, or the next. By this point, I was seeing shadows everywhere, hearing whispers where there was no one, and receiving messages from different numbers with phrases like, "Do you already know who the last one will be? The candle is almost at the end. Payment always comes. The last candle burned out at 3:17 a.m. I know because I was looking at it when the flame flickered for the last time, and went out with a dry crack. At the same time, I heard 3 knocks on the front door. 3, dry, rhythmic. Like a warning. I froze in the armchair with the melted candle on the floor, the smell of wax and burnt sulfur clogging the air. My whole house was taken over by a suffocating sensation. A humid heat, as if the very air had been contaminated with something. Alive, I gathered courage, went to the door, and when I opened it, she was there, but not like before. Not the sweet woman I kissed at the first dance, nor the ardent lover of the following nights. What stood before me was a virgin, spent, pale, her face covered by an expression of contained pain. "You knew," she said. "You felt it, but you didn't stop." I tried to say something, but she cut me off. "I was never yours. I was never free. I was just ... a result." And that's when I saw, behind her, silhouettes, many. All the women, the ones I kissed. The ones I took to the motel. The ones who disappeared. Some I didn't even remember, but they were there, standing, silent, looking at me with the same dead eyes that haunted me in the mirrors. And then one of them spoke. It was Vivian, the one from the first message. Witchcraft gave you everything you wanted, but didn't say for how long. Another continued, "Desire is a contract," and then concluded, "And payment is now." My body locked up. Literally, I couldn't move. I felt like something was pulling me inside myself. My hands trembled. My bones ached. The house darkened. I don't know how much time passed. When I woke up, I was in a hospital bed. Tubes, heart monitor. A tired-looking doctor told me, "You had a collapse. You fainted in the middle of the street. A neighbor found you." But I knew the truth. That night, I died. At least, a part of me. Since then, my body has never been the same. I walk with a walker. Constant pain. I remember everything, all the time. They sold my house. I never went back to town. I never saw Carmela again. Not even a message from her. But I know she knew this was going to happen. She warned me today. I live in a rented room in Lafayette. I survive selling used objects, fixing small things. The only company I have is an old mirror, covered by a sheet. I never took the cloth off. I'll never take it off. And every morning when I wake up, because I always wake up at 3:17 a.m., I smell the black candle burning again. If you were thinking about looking for a witch, a job, a spell to change your luck, remember, luck comes for free. But keeping it, there is always a price. And sometimes, the price is you. I'm not telling this for pity. I'm telling it for those who are at their limit, like I once was. If you're out there thinking about doing anything to be loved, think again. Sometimes, the emptiness is better than what comes after. And if someone ever offers you a bottle of luck, run, before it's too late.